never gonna find any peace. Not till you admit to yourself who you really are.
Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler-free review for Jason Bourne. You know who he is. You know, overall, it was a pretty good movie. I found myself enjoying it, and I had a good time with it. But can I just say this first and get this out of the way? I hate shaky cam. I hate it. There's just absolutely nothing good whatsoever about shaky cam. I mean, tell me honestly, Hollywood, does this look good? Look at this! Ah! Look at my karate! Ah! Ah! Can you honestly tell me that looked good? I mean, seriously. Oh my goodness. I mean, honestly, the sound effects are cool in some of the fight scenes in this movie, and it's like, yeah, I think something cool is happening here. Jason might be winning this fight. There might be a moment of tension here where he might be losing and fighting to get the upper hand. I don't know. Okay, I just had to get on my rant about that and get that out of the way. I do not like shaky cam. But anyway, like I said, that aside, overall, it was a pretty good movie. But there's something very typical about spy-type espionage movies that really drive me crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's those scenes where the spy is like, you know, away from his spy world, and then somebody shows up. They make eye contact. The spy goes to that person who showed up, and there's a note that says, "Meet me in so-and-so place in an hour." Do you know how many people would not have died if you just talked because you were just in the same room? You could just talk. You could just whisper even. You know what? Pass a note, like in high school or something. Like, seriously, how much death, dismay, and destruction could be avoided if when two spies are in the same room, instead of saying, "Meet me somewhere else in an hour," just, come on, you guys are right here. Can we just knock this out? Seriously? But then I guess you wouldn't have a movie. Alright, so some of those things aside, it was a fun movie. It was entertaining, it had an interesting story. I thought the acting was good. There were some moments where Jason Bourne was having some flashbacks. I feel like he remembers everything in this movie, since that's kind of the tagline for everything. But you still catch him catching a few flashbacks, getting a few things back. And there's a couple scenes where there's a close-up on his face and he gets something back, and the expression there is really good. You could just tell, like, the actor Matt Damon isn't just acting, like he's somewhere inside conjuring up those feelings. So things like that were really cool. And, you know, Matt Damon, he did a good job. I don't know why they had to do so much shaky cam. Is it because he's getting older and, you know, he can't do the same fight scenes he did before? Did you see my ninja kick? I just did too! Ow! Those are the best I've ever done in my life! I'm so glad we have it on film! Seriously. The best thing about this movie was the story. I thought the story was really, really interesting. I mean, first off, it is your typical spy movie and things like that, but they did a lot of interesting things with this. Like, there's this one character in this movie who started, it was basically Facebook, but it's like this fictionalized Facebook that they kind of came up with for this movie. And what was really interesting was this CEO and co-founder of this big, huge internet thing and his relationship with the CIA. It was kind of an interesting discussion. So, I don't know. I thought that was really interesting, the way they fictionalized that relationship, the way that they did that. So anyway, yeah. So I thought the story was very interesting. It was very engaging. The performances overall were very good and engaging. I like the different characters. You know, you have, you know, one character in the CIA who's blatantly the bad guy. You have one who's like a gray area, but you find yourself kind of rooting for her. And then, of course, you have Matt Damon. And the thing that was interesting about Matt Damon is he was just not going to get involved in any of this. And you get that idea from the trailer. You know, as Julia Stiles is like, come on, this is important. And he's like, no, I want nothing to do with this. But it's interesting because they personalize it and they pull him into the story. And then kind of the bad guy that's in the story, not the CIA bad guy, but the asset bad guy. The other guy that, as always, they try to get other spies to kill Matt Damon. They gave him a personal reason to be there and a personal reason to be after Matt Damon. So it was kind of interesting the way they did it, the way they personalized it for these characters, and it made a lot of that stuff really interesting. So in terms of story, in terms of the way the movie's written and the way the movie flows, I really, really enjoyed it. Though one of my biggest disappointments with the movie was, you know, the trailer, you know, every trailer has that, him knocking out the guy with one punch. Isn't that just awesome? It's not in the movie. It's not in the movie. How do you have that in your trailer all over the place and then you don't have that in your movie? I mean, they kind of had it. You know, the camera was behind him instead of in front of him, and then, you know, it was kind of, ah! Look how fast I'm punching! Ah! Yeah, so that was kind of sad for me to not see that totally awesome boom hit. But, you know, overall, it's not my favorite movie that I've seen this summer. It's not my favorite movie that I've seen in 2016. But I think it is a good addition to the Bourne series. I think if you go see this in the theaters, you will still be entertained. Engaging story, good acting. I did enjoy the film. I don't feel the need personally to own it, but I did enjoy my experience in the theater. So I'm going to give this movie 3 out of 5 stars. If you saw Jason Bourne, how many stars out of 5 would you give it? Be sure to let me know in the comments. While you're there, hit that subscribe button so you can be on top of all the stuff that's coming out. Like, got my spoiler talk for Jason Bourne coming out on Saturday. Got a special guest going to be joining me, and we're going to talk, and, well, not just talk. We're going to spoiler talk the movie, and we're going to have a good time. And Sunday, going to be reading way too much into The Dark Knight, because we're already getting really close to the Suicide Squad coming out. Since we're rebooting a Joker and Suicide Squad, I thought it fun to go back and read way too much into The Dark Knight and the Heath Ledger Joker. So that's coming up Sunday. Spoiler talk on Saturday. Hit that subscribe button to be on top of it all. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.